Hello. First, I'd like to thank the opposition team for being here today to have this debate with us, the Speaker of the House for allowing us to have this debate, and also the audience for listening to us have this debate on the military draft. First off, this House believes that the selective service system for the draft should be banned in the United States. I'd like to go over a few definitions before continuing with our debate. First is the selective service system. It's a registration process by which the U.S. government collects names and addresses of men from the ages of 18 through 25. They use this in case of a national emergency that requires rapid expansion of U.S. armed forces, according to Army.com. Also, another definition is banned, and this is defined as forbidden by law. Okay. So this topic is a very controversial subject, dividing our country for the last 50 years. In 1973, the military draft ended, and the U.S. converted to an all-voluntary military. However, one word by the Congress and the President could change that. We are here to discuss why we believe the military draft should be banned and what harms it causes. The first harm we'd like to talk about is quantity over quality. In other terms, soldiers are physically there but not mentally. According to Andy, a World War II veteran, he states that somehow those of us who were volunteers had a different outlook on what had to be done. It was if those of us who were volunteers shared a common sense of duty. Also, according to Chris, a current U.S. soldier in the Iraqi war, stated, "I would rather have one volunteer watching my back than 10 draftees." Also, quality over quantity leads to unmotivated soldiers. According to Kevin Tummy, a World War II veteran, he states, "It will give us bodies, but not soldiers." He also stated that draftees tend to be unmotivated and do not fit well with the standard military units. The result is a decrease in unit cohesion and morale, which is crucial in combat situations. To solve these harms, we would offer the following plan. Our plan is to abolish the Selective Service System Act of 1940 that allows for the military draft. We would do this by eliminating funds for the Selective Service System, leaving the agency only enough money to eliminate itself. Thank you.
First, I'd like to thank the government team, the Speaker of the House, and the audience for being here today. We, the opposition, believe the selective service system should be kept in the United States. And definitions, we do agree with the terms given by the government team. Now, this is a very controversial topic, as the government had stated earlier. However, right now we are in a period where most believe the military draft should be abolished. However, this may not be the case for all situations that may occur. In World War II, it was a necessary situation for the draft. Our country was at stake of being overtaken by the Germans, and our country would not be the same today had we not won that war. However, in today's current war situation in Iraq, it does not directly affect our country's safety, so many are opposed to the war. However, I am not here to persuade you to believe in a draft for this particular war. I am merely here to tell you that there are times when we will need a draft, as we did in World War II. Taking away the right to draft will possibly create greater harms. So I'm going to state the facts of why we need the military draft. 1, stop loss. Many people who enlisted in the war on a voluntary basis are now being told they need to stay longer. Maybe, or many see this as a backdoor draft. We do not have enough men enlisting in the war, and therefore are making these men stay away from their families and friends when they are supposed to be getting out. Had there been more draft, had there been a draft there would be enough men in a situation where this would not occur. This also leads to an economic problem. Since these men have been on the force longer, their pay is much higher, causing us to pay these reserves at a much higher rate than we would pay the draftees. Our economy is already in danger with debt. This would greatly increase the problem. Number 2, manpower. Now, the government has stated earlier that they have met someone in the armed forces that stated that they would love to have one qualified person watching their back versus 10 draftees. Now, This is, a smart fact that they had stated, but it doesn't change the fact that if you had 10 people there, when push comes to shove and the guns are firing, having 10 people shoot in the same direction you're shooting is a lot better than having one. In war, it's kill or be killed, and I believe that statement isn't warranted.
Let me start by stating a few advantages to abolishing the draft. Passing a law to abolish the draft registration will not cost taxpayers any more money. The expense for introducing this bill is covered in overhead costs in Congress's original budget. Right now, we are paying $24 million a year in taxes to keep this program running. Current estimates say that abolishing the draft registration would save Americans $250 million over the next 10 years. In regards to the opposition's statement about the stop loss problem and the economic problem, let me propose a solution. You stated that it would cost more to pay existing veterans than it would to cost new draftees. This is not true. Take, for instance, bringing in a new draftee who may or may not want to be there and paying them $40,000 a year. Why not give two existing veterans who get paid the same a $20,000 increase for staying? You would keep seasoned fighters who volunteer to be there versus paying a person fresh off the farm who didn't want to be there in the first place. In conclusion, passing a law to abolish the draft registration will bring the U.S. one step closer to the ideal society that the Founding Fathers had originally envisioned. For all these reasons, we ask you to vote for the government team.
In regards to the government's idea proposed, I believe it to be a good idea, but it doesn't fix the problem of alleviating the stress of the soldiers that have already done their duty and bringing them home. We're banking on the fact that they want to stay there and keep fighting for more money, when in reality the majority of them probably just want to come home. They've done their duty and we cannot ask any more of them. For these reasons, I ask you to vote in favor of the opposition.